The atomic clock hasn't gotten to 11 yet. Now 11, we'll call the meeting of the Isabella County Board of Commissioners, Finance and Administration Committee to order. Do we have approval for the agenda? Any additions, deletions desired?
No, sir.
Then I will say we have an agenda. We'll move on. Do we need a motion on that?
You can call it, sir.
Okay. A call to the public?
Why, sure.
I want to
She
have
has
a
pink tennis shoes
Share.
on.
pink tennis shoes. She has pink tennis shoes?
Oh,
Like the great filibuster.
Okay,
Morning. Madam
only Isabella
Registrar.
County and its local townships are in a position to balance the advantages and disadvantages of solar and wind power project advancements. Isabella County has historically been oil and gas country. I challenge you to find a section in this county where oil and gas activity does not show up in the chain of title. That being said, solar and wind projects actually block oil and gas. I don't point this out to be negative, just to make you aware that these projects are not actually totally new revenue streams, but replacement streams of revenue. I'm not against solar or wind projects. I truly believe that our future lies in diverse income sources. I am very proud to be a part of such a diverse community. We are not just, excuse me, we are not just another cookie cutter shape that belongs in an 83-piece two-part puzzle. We are some of the smartest, most innovative people in this state, and we are best suited to represent or to respond to all county concerns in an expedient and relevant manner, allowing the state of Michigan to wrestle away local control of solar and wind power projects would threaten county revenue streams. It would jeopardize future planning projects and be a huge disservice to the people that we represent.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else wish to take the? Anybody online? Probably going to cardiac arrest if we ever have anybody online at a committee meeting. Well, then move on to our first item of business, which is consider approving the prime contract change order number 11 for Clark Construction in the net amount, net additional amount, $76,694, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Do we have Heidi with us this morning?
We do not. Heidi is on the progress meeting for the
Mm.
sheriff's office and
Oh, that's
correctional
right.
facility. She just texted me. She said she might be late. She's on that, so you can either go to the
Hold
next
off.
and circle back, or we
Let's
can.
delay this one, see if she can join us. Otherwise, I think we've all looked at it. But we'll give her a chance to weigh in.
Perfect.
Yeah, with the new system, it's nice to know we already saw this coming, so. Yeah. Yep, okay.
So the next item is consider approving a 90-day extension to the current agreement for animal shelter services between the Humane Animal Treatment Society and Isabella County, such that the current agreement will expire December 31st, 2023.
So we just have a situation where the current, well, I mean, we really don't have a current agreement with HATS. If this would extend the expiration of our last agreement with them, which expired September 30, 2023. This would extend it through the end of calendar year while we negotiate new terms. We did this at the end of our last agreement too, which if we weren't out in front of it. I think we extended it 60 days last time. I'm saying 90 days just to be realistic. I think we can negotiate with them successfully prior to the end of the year.
So have we been in the process of negotiating new terms with them currently?
We have both, I feel like both sides have reviewed the current agreement, if you will, but we have not gotten together on dates. So we just need to figure out who needs to be at the table. Last time Sheriff Mean was involved. I think he would like to be to some degree. And again, even though he has animal control function. We kind of
Mhm.
oversee the shelter. You can see the
Mhm.
intimate connection there between the two. Chairman Hope, I believe, would like to be involved in negotiations, at least going over the contract and offering suggestions, if not at the table.
Sounds
I don't
good.
know if anyone else beyond that, obviously, I will be there. Usually the HATS board president and their legal representation as well.
Has this been a year-to-year contract?
Well, no, it was a
Multi-year?
2-year. last-
2-year,
two-year-
okay.
2-year last time.
Uh-huh.
And I think prior to that, it was a 2 or 3-year. Are you thinking maybe,
No, I just
Going
wondered,
lesser or
just,
longer, or just-
no, just curious what the practice has been. I know the total price was 175,000. Hats has how many full-time, at least three full-time employees,
Yes.
maybe 4.
maybe 4 if the canine and feline supervisor are both full-time? I'm not sure about that. But I think there's the executive director and like an operations manager, feline supervisor and canine supervisor, I believe.
3 or 4 full-time and
And
a
then
couple
a mountain.
part-times and a whole bunch of volunteers
Yes.
and would be. I won't say impossible, but it'd be very difficult for the county to take that on financially without hats.
It would be
Seriously.
improbable to maintain level of services too.
Right,
It wouldn't be a
right.
shelter that your attorney general would want to visit
True.
if
Um,
we were running
I'm
it,
not
right?
familiar with other local counties, how they do business, so that's good to hear.
It's a nice shelter. It is spotlessly clean. I've done a couple tours of it recently. They do an amazing job. An amazing number of animals go through there.
In the clinic to boot, right? And
Yeah, and the clinic, they do just a tremendous amount of spay and neuter. On pets and not just shelter animals, but for low.
Right, in a little way. I didn't cut that close one second when I punched the skull. But I think I had 280. I can figure out what I had exactly.
Maybe just one
Yeah,
just one comment on this. I know I recently went over to Hats. I trapped raccoons, skunks, possums, because they're great predators of game birds. And I caught a cat. It was a mean cat. I took it over to Hats and they said they couldn't accept it. They said they're only gonna take, checked it out. They said this is a wild cat. And they said they just didn't have the facility. Check. No, just release it. Thinking, how's that helping anything just to release a wild cat? So I don't know if an additional service could be if you have wild animals, they can put them in expedited manner to put them down. I don't feel comfortable just releasing them back in the environment. I found a farmer that took that cat, but
you'd have to have a philosophical discussion with cats about their no-kill policy. They only put animals down that are dangerous, and they currently, I think, I might have the numbers wrong, but I think they have 100 cats currently, and they are full.
And then on the other coin, animal control, there's no cat law to enforce, right?
Right.
So on the.
well, I know you're not
animal
allowed to
control,
dispatch a
that's-
They don't have any-
dispatch a cat. I think it's against the law to do that, but it just seems like there has to be some avenue.
It's
other
been an
than just-
issue, especially here in town.
I've heard
There's so many cats.
Yeah.
Yes,
Overrun by cats around here.
Yeah,
yes. I think city council has recently,
They're
Consider this.
addressing it.
well, they've considered it.
Hmm.
But again.
But
I
if
think
they
the options are
philosophically had
limited.
a service that could provide some outlet for these animals, just thought. Want to move that on?
Let's move that to our regular work session next Tuesday.
It's been moved to take the proposed 90-day extension to the current agreement for the animal shelter services between Humane Animal Treatment Society and Isabella County to the work session next week. I'll second that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We will now move back to the change order. So we're going to be considering approving the prime contract change order number 11 with Clark Construction in the net additional amount of $76,694 and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Heidi, you're with us now. We heard all the background noise, so we knew you chimed in.
Sorry about that. I was having some speaker problems. And I appreciate you waiting for me. Our other meeting ran a little late this morning, so just kind of a quick overview of PCCO 11. So this included CCD 13, which we had some food service changes with some underground when we were going through the bid process. So it affected mechanical, plumbing, and then also electrical. We had to upgrade some of the breakers in that area due to some changes. We also had some plumbing that was removed, and we had from the county review, we had add some gas detection monitoring in the Sally Port. That added some additional controls in that area as well. So that's the reason for some of those costs there. We also had, let's see, what else affected that one. We had some steel because we had to add the exhaust fans to when we added that CO2 sensor in that area. Let's see what else is on this here. Roofing changes we had from a couple RFIs and also CCD 13. We had to move some mechanical equipment around in area C that came up during the BIM process. And we had to move some skylights around as well. Some conflicts there we found, which added some additional support steel and stuff like that. We purchased a louver at the rec room in area C. We originally had it in one contractor scope of work. We had another contractor price it out for us, and it was actually cheaper. So there was a savings to the project was $6,765. And then reworked some areas where we used geofoam instead of concrete. So there was savings of $450 back to the buyout. And then we had in area C, so we had the second floor, and underneath that second floor, we had metal deck. We had those flutes exposed, and that just gave an area for inmates to possibly store some stuff or anything like that above the lights. So we put a stainless steel plate there underneath that floor. So that way we didn't have any areas where inmates could potentially store items or anything like that, or get into the electrical or anything. So that was an add of $4,875. So that was kind of more of a code type situation there. So, and that is the total for this change order or PCCO number 11 of the $76,694. Is there any questions?
You happen to know offhand how much money we have left in the buyout? I couldn't find it in the.
Should be towards the very end of your handout.
I missed it.
The
Glad you found it.
the last couple of pages, it's gonna be the PCO log. So it's the last 3 pages of your handout, and Heidi, if they're looking at that PCO log, I think it's on that. Oh, it's gonna be hard to see if the staple isn't there. It looks like after this buyout remaining is 229,000 and contingency remaining is over 781,000. Is that what you're saying, Heidi?
I'm bringing it up. Sorry, I did not have that up.
I see it now.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, good. I just got it up. So yeah, remaining in buyout, according to this report, was 229,937. And then we have remaining contingency of 781,774, which a total combined then is 1,011,711.
And because you've asked for it, that next line shows that there's approved, anticipated, estimated, pending, allocated date of 1.188, right? So those are those potential change orders that are on this list that we're maybe anticipating or knowing something's coming, right? They're not set in stone yet, but they're anticipated.
Correct. And that's how much I kind of look at it as how much we've spent to date. So that's money that has already been taken out of the buyout and well, we haven't taken anything out of contingency. So that just takes it out of buyout at this point.
Great questions, good conversation.
Any questions, comments?
How was your meeting today, Ms. Heidi?
Good. Sorry, it just ran longer because we had a lot of discussion with schedule and stuff. So with the weather, the rain, so whoever can do some rain dances or prayers or whatever, we appreciate it. No more.
Communication has been better?
No, no issues.
Beautiful. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Heidi, for joining us.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for understanding my lateness, tardiness, I should say.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.
I will move approving the prime contract change order number 11 with Clark Construction in a net additional amount of $76,694 and authorize move that to the work session next week.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Our next item. Consider approving proposed resolution number 2023-08 in support of local control of solar and wind power project advancement and authorize the board chair to sign the same. So I think Karen's comments were timely in this manner. I know MAC opposes losing that local control. I've gone to the Michigan Association of Counties, and when that subject comes up, it's obvious that none of the counties are looking forward to having the state take over decision-making in this manner. Do you have any questions or comments on the resolution?
I'm going to say that the local control of anything like this to me is paramount. We need to be able to be in charge of what happens within our townships, within our counties, within our cities. I think that power needs to stay with us.
I would agree with that. I mean, I understand some of the state's frustration in trying to cite some of these projects, but more local you get government, more effective it is, in my opinion. And we should have control over that type of thing here,
What happens here should be controlled here.
right?
And oftentimes, and it doesn't make a difference whose administration, these things get in the books and then it grows, expands to other areas. So
Yeah.
would you like to make the motion?
I certainly will. Move to consider approving proposed resolution number 2023-08 in support of local control of solar wind power project advancement. Authorize the board chair to sign the same to our work session next Tuesday.
I will second that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, it moves forward then. All right. We have invoice list discussion. So we've got invoice list from September 29th and wait a minute, invoice list from another September 29th. Looks like duplicates.
Uh-oh,
I have two that one says.
here, I have
I have October
the
6th.
biggest one ever from October 6th.
Yeah, that is a big one.
I think it's the biggest ever, so
And then
I'll trade you.
Okay,
My apologies.
okay.
This is one way to start off our new fiscal year. Wow.
Well,
Me, Doc.
Didn't try to,
I know it wasn't.
well, you got it at about 5 o'clock now. Almost. so.
Oh, well, a big chunk of this is Clark, which
we will start with the September 29th invoice list.
Hmm.
We've got integrated architecture payment Other than that, we have our usual contracts and agreements. I see RJ Thomas is in there for 5,644 for picnic tables for the parks, and I did stop down and talk to Alexis before coming up here. I wanted to make her aware of some Pilot Rock tables that are universally accessible. In the past, they weren't available when I was director, and I know they're still buying the Pilot Rock, but the tables frames that we have either have to have extended ends, which is a real awkward thing, where the new Pilot Rock, they have a design where the legs bend in, so you have wheelchair leg access underneath. They look like any other picnic table and it doesn't holler different.
Mm-hmm.
And they have another accessible table, so I suggested if she hadn't purchased them to consider that, but
Did Director Hanson share any news with you this morning?
no.
So she said I could share with you. She just learned yesterday from the DNR. They were awarded a Sparks grant for Herrick Park in the amount of $319,000
Oh,
for improvements to Herrick.
wow.
There goes my last playground.
Yeah, well, it's
Good
time.
Yeah.
She came to the Human Resources Committee with the proposal for going forward with the next master plan. She talked about the importance of having the master plan in place and those project priorities in place so that we can be ready for funding like this when it comes about.
Anticipating it, being prepared. I like it.
Do we have any questions on the September
I-
29th?
I have one on the 44 North payment for our
Oh, yeah.
funded prescriptions. Is that 19,000? Is that a back? I know the first quarter was quite high and they thought, well, maybe it was 90-day
Right.
prescriptions that people were calling in. Is this more in line with what we had
Yeah.
anticipated?
Yes, yes, and we just met with Lisa that you can see that trend coming down. You know, we had some drugs that were forcing costs up. We made some changes with those. They had 60 days fill left on those. And so as people filled those, it's still elevated costs. And now that we're beyond that 60 days, we are starting to see that.
Should seem to
Good.
level off after this. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Good to hear.
Good to point that out. Thank you.
So we'll move on then to the October 6th list. We had some pretty chunky bills on this one. Totals, the list totals $3,505,394.45. Clark Construction is a big piece of that, of just under 3 million for the September construction charges for the correctional facility. And again, I look at the bottom of the list, McBride Quality Care. We're looking at almost $80,000 for care of our youth that need to have care out of their homes.
Can I comment
Unfortunately,
on that one? I'm hoping that we can begin this process eventually sooner than later, maybe of looking into creating our own regional care facilities.
Secure
Yeah,
facility,
yeah, here locally in
Yes.
central Michigan.
yes.
I
Yeah.
think, I mean, every time I see this, I think of that and I think, well, man, one, it would be great to be able to take care of our kids here, our youth here,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then not have to incur these huge expenses,
These charges are not for secure detention, though, I don't think.
you know, just
Doesn't
childcare.
look like it.
Right, the
Okay.
43,000 is day
One
treatment.
state treatment.
That's for running the day treatment on Preston.
Okay, so that's ours. Mhm.
I think,
the
I
youth care.
believe the other one is supervised care. Yeah, that's just the monthly, I think, for running the non-secure out on Blanchard Road. I believe.
It looks like
It's
it.
our usual.
These aren't
Yeah,
quote unquote placements. Yes,
Okay.
these are the norms. I
So that-
know that,
the 43,000 could be multiple children
yes.
that are
Okay.
housed there at the time.
Yes, yes. And I
It's
know
just a con-
Court Administrator Carrie Curtis is doing everything to not only control these costs, but to really beef up the reimbursement too. We know some of the reimbursements just went from 50 to 75% through the child care fund, not placements, but things like day treatment programming, we can. We also, I've learned from Court Administrator Curtis that if it was a county employee supervising this this activity rather than a contracted, we would be able to get a greater percentage reimbursement from the state. So it's something to think about going forward. Going forward, you're gonna see a contract with McBride. We haven't had that in the past, but the state's requiring that going forward, but I think we could think about that, you know, there's obviously costs to creating a new position. Benefits, however, if we could get enough reimbursement from the state to make that make
Offset it.
sense. And then we can control programming, things like that. Not my area of expertise, but I know there's some opportunities.
So our annual cost would be that 43,000 times 12.
Yes, sir.
So might have, but
Yes, sir.
so somebody maybe should look into that and see.
And then
The numbers are-
when secure detention shows up on this, it'll list the facility. And it'll say like Highfields. for
Oh, yeah,
example,
wherever,
or
whichever facility they're
just
going
How
to,
many days or?
Jackson
or
County.
we're buying, purchasing beds,
Yep.
space, okay.
Mhm.
So our day treatment under the contract, are they allowed to take in children from adjoining counties?
Yes, they're not all our youth, yes.
Okay,
But Court Administrator Curtis also charges those
Charges,
other
so-
counties for their youth in the program. But we don't get reimbursed for that from the state, so
But do we get billed for children from other counties and then our court administrator has to bill the other county?
that's my understanding, yes. Mhm.
so the bottom line at the end of the year is that we may not have that $43,000 because we are getting revenue to offset that, which is probably showing up in the budget or maybe. it's
Yeah,
not showing
we've
up in
already
the budget.
budgeted to
Oh, okay.
receive the revenue. Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, we knew that at budget time. Court Administrator Curtis knows her stuff and made those best guesses at budget time.
Now, is that the type of charge where they increase the payback from the state from 50% to 75%?
I think it's the things that don't involve placement, like the secure placement. I think that's what they're trying
Day
to
treatment.
avoid, but day treatment, yes,
Okay.
that
So
reimbursement has risen
It's
to
gone from 50 to
75%.
75,
Yes,
Okay.
the new juvenile justice reform
yes.
package, yeah.
Any other questions, comments, concerns with the
Great questions.
October 6th list?
Appreciate the background information. Thank you.
Well, and obviously Ms. Curtis can give a lot more detail, and I know you'll see those contracts from McBride come forward soon.
Well, just a discussion, so we'll move these on to the work session then.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this? I have another October 6th I did have one.
Was in
It was-
there.
out of sequence, so here you can have yours back.
Very good.
And was I supposed to get this one? This is a different committee,
It's
water.
a different committee. That's from Human Resources.
I may have some questions for that at the work session.
Do you want to keep it?
I've got it online.
Okay.
I think it's online, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Or
So,
will be with the agenda.
any announcements? Call the public again? Guess the only thing I'd ask is, Steve, you're gonna join us after the meeting? Okay. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting of the Finance and Administration Committee. Thank you.
Thank you.